Hey, what's going on, Tony?
Yes, sir. We back again for another show. We've been out for a little while, for a week at least. We had some things to do, take care of some business, but we're back.
Yes, sir.
And the subject today is going to be we're going to talk a little bit about this war, but we're going to try to explain to you why the war, oil prices and gas prices just might be something for us to try to bring the focus off what they're really doing with social things going on, trying to break down the vote. Just this week, we had the Supreme Court looking over birthright citizenship. So you got a lot of things going on at once. And I just want to talk about the voting extensively if we can tonight. Stacey Abrams was on TV earlier talking about voting rights. Stacey Abrams is something like a guru when it comes down to voting. She turned out the black vote big time here in Georgia. But yeah, let's get going with it and everything. Before we get started, remember Gents Making Sense at Gents Making Sense, YouTube. He's showing you what we got there.
Merch,
We
man.
got some merchandise. Go over a little bit to the left, come towards you. No, the other way. Come all the way, come all the way, all the way. Now turn it around the other way. There we go, right there. Gents Making Sense. That's one of our tumblers that we plan on putting on our store. I got to get that store together and put it up on the web page and everything. I got to get my daughter to give me that information, how to do that and everything. Also, look at this T-shirt. Gents Making Sense.
Man, there we
We
go.
have
There
that
we
out,
go.
podcast, we got T-shirts, we got hats. This is one of them. We got another one I'll show later on in the show, but, we're gonna get this stuff out there. Just want you to put it out there and wear it. We're gonna have it at a reasonable price. We're not gonna try to break the bank on it, so support us, okay? Gents Making Sense on YouTube and at
Yes.
Gents MS on Spotterboard and everything. So let's get to it, my brother. Let's get to it. So as war goes on over there in Iran, this little short war he called it, this little expedition he called it. You know, as it keeps going on and everything, and they keep changing the goalposts and
Yep.
whatnot. It's over and it's not over. I'm talking to somebody, but I think he's sitting at a desk talking to himself or something. I don't know who he's negotiating with. Every time he start negotiating with somebody, Netanyahu kill him.
Right.
That kinda goes to show you where he stands on all this stuff. He don't want no talks. He wanna keep killing people. That's what he wanna do. I'm
Yep.
sorry, that's my opinion. But while we're focusing on that and how high gas prices is, we got the Senate, and the House, looking at voting right bills and looking at the Safe America bill and all this other crazy stuff. We got the Supreme Court looking at birthright citizenship. This is a um, all out war against, people voting rights and stuff. It's an all out war. Go ahead, Superman.
I mean, just to touch on that a little bit. I mean, I said, couple months ago in here about voting rights. It's not about someone cheating when it comes to voting. They know that we have hundred and something million people that vote in this country. Every election, and we don't have people who are illegally voting. They know that. What it is they want to make it difficult for people who share our reflection to not vote because they don't like the way we typically vote in mass. So they want to change it and make the rules harder for us to vote. And, one of the guys, I'll just bring this up when somebody was on our, comment section, basically talking about, why is it a problem that you have to show ID to vote? And I responded back to him and said, what state do you live in that doesn't require identification to vote?
Exactly.
I mean, I live in Virginia. We have to show our driver's license. We have to show identification. And not everything that we do in the United States requires identification. I mean, you use your credit card at the grocery store, at Walmart, at Lowe's, Home Depot. You don't have to show your identification when you use your credit card because it's based upon the trust is based upon that company giving you a card that they've identified who you are. when you have a contractor come to your house and then you sit down and sign a contract, that contract doesn't show you his driver's license. He shows you a license. And that license has been approved by the state organization or state agency that has verified that you are who you are. So this SAVE Act is garbage. No one in this country is running around with an identification that hasn't been identified as an American to be able to vote. So this is just another way to try to change the narrative, as you said earlier, moving the goalposts to make it more difficult for people who don't typically vote for the ruling class to determine who their representatives are. They want to make it where they determine who your representatives are, who their representatives are, as opposed to you determining who represents you.
Exactly. Let's be real. Black voters have always had to navigate more obstacles just to participate. Long lines, fewer polling places, ID requirements that don't match how people actually live. Early voting has been one of the few tools that help level the playing field. And now with this SAFE Act, they want to take away most of that. The SAFE Act, like you were saying, is just it's a rouge in that, like you said, if you're registered to vote, you've done everything you need to do as a American citizen to prove
Yep.
that you can vote. Why
Right. Yep.
do how many people do you know walk around with passports? How many people you know walk around with their birth certificate? I can tell you where my birth certificate is right now. And the last time I tried to order one, I was born in North Carolina. I had to go to a website, request the birth certificate, then they gotta verify all this other stuff, and then I finally get it mailed out to me at some point in time. So it's just another obstacle. Yes, I can get my birth certificate. Yes, most people can get their birth certificate, but you got a lot of people that don't have the resources. You got a lot of people in America. People don't understand. A lot of people in America don't have a computer. They don't have a computer. And then they're the ones that do, they don't know how to use them. A lot of them don't have to use them. It's not
Name
just because you know how to do this, don't mean that most Americans know how to do this, you know? So, it's just another layer to put there because they know for the most part, and I don't mean this disrespectful, most Americans are just lazy. They don't vote. If you look at the percentage of eligible voters that vote and the ones that don't vote, it should make you ashamed of the American system because people don't participate. But then they sit around and they argue, fuss, and fight and complain because they say they don't have a voice. If don't nobody hear you on TV, if don't nobody hear you writing anything, on that day that you're supposed to vote, your one vote says a lot about who you are. Whether
yeah.
your person win or not, it says that you participated in a democratic society that your forefathers fought for and died for.
Yep.
That's what I got.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, man. Early voting is how working class Black folks, especially shift workers, caregivers, and people juggling multiple jobs, actually get to cast a ballot. If the court limits that, it hits us first and foremost. And just to add to that, I mean, my history. I mean, I worked for the Department of State for 12 years, and I traveled to over 50 countries. And the one thing that always surprises me with the United States is why isn't election day a national holiday? Or why isn't it done on a Saturday or a Sunday? If you really want people to vote, you really want people to show you who they want to see in office, then make it easy for people. Why are polling stations, you go on to one polling station, it has, where there's 100,000 people in the jurisdiction, it has two voting machines. And then you go into a jurisdiction that has 100 people and they got 10 voting machines. Why isn't it based off population? If you live in a city that has a large population, you get most of the voting machines. If you live in small towns, since they love to talk about small town, then you're gonna have to wait because you live in a small town. Go ahead.
I live in a small town. We got 10 voting machines at my polling place. And every time I go there at 5 o'clock in the evening and I see how many people voted, it always say 10 or
Yeah,
maybe 9. We got
Right,
10 voting machines and only 10 people voted all day.
right. And that's because where people who vote against what the ruling class wants, they make it hard. So they make you wait in line. They got like 5 machines and there's 50,000 people waiting to vote. And they make you wait in line. People get tired. It's not on a holiday. You have to go to work. People don't have time to stand out there for 2 hours and vote. And it doesn't make sense. Like I said, if you really want to change voting in this country, then put it on a Saturday.
Good
Put it,
idea.
put it on a Saturday and open up the polls at 7 o'clock and keep on open till 10. Why are polls closing at 7 p.m.?
Where they gotta go?
Exactly. Where you going? Why aren't polls open until 10 p.m. at night? But go ahead.
Why do we have to know right then who wins? I
Right,
mean, you close the poll at 7. Is it because of the news cycle? Is that why
right.
we closing at 7? Because of the news
Yep.
cycle?
Uh-huh.
That hey, it's all about convenience and access. You know, where early voting is convenient, it's accessibility, and then we got the ultimate shade I saw where Donald Trump voted by mail.
Yeah,
Railing about the same
exactly.
thing he just got through railing about all day. He voted that way, and his candidate still lost. So I guess that's the reason why he don't want to do it that way anymore. But this is all about accessibility and making it convenient for people to vote and to go through the process of democracy and everything. And I don't know for the life of me why you would want to cut off except for what we've talked about, why you want to cut off this accessibility and the ease in voting and everything is really ridiculous. Donald Trump can, on one hand, send in his mail-in ballot with pride, and then tell everybody else, "I don't want you to mail in your ballot.
Right,
No,
right. Yep.
no,
Uh-huh.
no, we don't want you to mail in your ballot because Florida will do it right all the time." Now we talk about a state that's constantly messing up voting forever. And they finally got it right a couple times, and now they're supposed to be experts in it.
Right.
No, they're not experts in it and everything. So, yeah, that's one thing they're doing. They're trying to take that away from you and everything. So, I think we're gonna go into segment 2 where we got
Yeah, let's
Supreme
go into
Court.
section 2. Yeah, Supreme Court case, what's at stake? Some states argue that early voting rules need to be tightened for uniformity. Others say the changes would excuse me, disproportionately affect black voters. The court's decision could redefine what states are allowed to do.
And history shows when you rewrite the rules and everything, the black community usually feel the impact more than any other race or everything. It always falls down on that.
Yeah, exactly. Even small changes like reducing early voting days or limiting Sunday voting can shrink turnout in neighborhoods that already face barriers. It's not just about Black people, it's about economics. And when you have a choice to make on whether to go to work to feed your family, or to pay your car bill, or to pay your mortgage, putting food on the table, or go stand in line for 3 hours, that's a difficult choice. I would say I'd rather wait in line to be able to choose who represents me, but I don't know shade. Some people say, it's more important to me that my daughter eats. It's more important to me that I take care of my family. It's more important to me that I don't have to take vacation to go and vote. So I get it. So this is all about taking people's rights away from them.
That's it. That's the soul. I kind of uh all almost all employees I know honor the National Guard and the reserves and things like that because it's the American thing to do. Uh,
Right.
if you have a guardsman or reservist that work for your company, when they have to do maneuvers and everything and have to go be deployed, you honor that. They go. You don't take their job away from them. You even supplement the pay so that they don't lose too much pay and everything. Voting to me is akin to doing the right thing in
Yep.
America
Yep.
because we left a whole country because they had kings and queens and we wanted democracy.
Right.
We get democracy and now we want to go back to being dictated to how we vote and how we choose our leaders. I think we're moving in the wrong direction pretty fast. I really do. I think the only thing, and I'm gonna get off topic a little bit, forgive me, but I think the only thing that can stop this is this election coming up. It can stop it, it can derail it.
Mhm.
Donald Trump is doing enough to hang himself with this war. His numbers are going down. Republican numbers are going down. I don't care if it's a Republican in office half of the time, as long as they're doing what's best for the people. That's what I want. That's what I want. Democrats, just like Republicans, have their days. They do stupid shit too. I can say that. They do
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they do stupid shit too. So, I just want people I want people that don't go on vacation when other people are suffering. How do
Right.
you in your right mind leave and go home on vacation while you got these TSA people running around not getting paid? Working
Because it
hard,
doesn't affect it.
you
It
know?
doesn't affect them.
It doesn't affect them. So, and that's all of them. The Democrats will say, "Hey, Republicans did this, and that's why they're not getting paid." So show me some. Tell them you're not gonna take your paycheck.
They're not gonna do that. They've isolated themselves so much
Yeah,
from the American pain that they have so much to do with. Just like we go to war. We go to war, none of their kids, none of their sons are going over there and dying. None of their sons are doing that. None of their daughters are going and participating in the military war. So they're isolated from it. They write tax laws that benefit them. Their family's not suffering. They get insider trading information about the stock market. They know where things are going. We don't get that. The American people suffer. So that's the problem with our politics in this country is that they've done so well in isolating themselves from the problems of Americans, they don't care.
and it just I was just watch them just walk right out of this DC and say, "See ya." While you got
Yeah.
these men and women working hard in airports trying to keep America safe, not getting paid. But Donald Trump did what he coulda did 3 weeks ago, an executive order, and he didn't even have to do an executive order. All he had to do is call his Homeland Security Secretary and say, "Hey, do a line item change, take some money from ICE and put it in TSA coffers and pay them people." It's
Well,
in
I
this
mean, they don't want
it's
to do
in
they don't want
it's in the same agency
yeah, but they don't want to do that because they don't want to take the money from the Gestapo. I think
from the
they want to
Gestapo.
allow them right to walk around the country and terrorize people.
Imma tell you something else I noticed while we're on that. Why is it that all of a sudden, when in the airports and everywhere, the ICE agents don't wear a mask, why all of them are Black and Hispanic now?
That's you know what? That's a good question.
I That's just an observation of mine. I may be wrong, but that's exactly what I see. So,
Oh yeah,
and you can't tell me what I don't see and everything, what I see.
that
Yeah.
good point, man.
Yeah,
Good point.
yeah, every last one of 'em I saw were Black or Hispanic. I didn't see any white ICE agents at the airport, 'cause they're out there breaking arms and breaking
Right,
heads.
bringing it down to killing people, murdering people on the streets, and getting away with it. So,
Exactly, have taken pot shots at people and everything. I think we did a good job of talking about the SAFE Act and SAVE Act. I keep saying SAFE Act, and all the things that had all the effects it have on us as, minorities, Black and minorities and everything. So let's kinda get back into this war in Iran and the dangers of distraction. Uh,
okay.
just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, wars have a way of shifting national focus. People get overwhelmed, news cycles get crowded, and that's when big domestic changes slide through quietly. And that's the way it's always been in this country is that when they want to slide something through the political process, get the Supreme Court to change some law that they don't, that's not popular amongst the masses, go bomb somebody. You know,
You
let
know, remember
let's go find some country that can't defend itself and let's call it, it's moral that we do it. And that's what's going on in Iran. I mean, why
You
they're
remember what
bombing
they
Iran,
used to say about excuse me, you remember what they used to say about Bill Clinton whenever he had an affair,
wag
he
your
would
dog.
yeah, whenever he had an affair, he just go bomb somebody, get everything. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I had to
And this
say that.
administration is doing exactly that, which is, we know that there's this Iran conflict has no merit to it. It has you can't even tell the troops that you're potentially getting ready to send to die why they're even going over there. You can't tell. He can't even get on TV. I mean, that damn press conference he did yesterday or the day before was a disaster. was a disaster. He had no solution. I mean, it's like United States is a game show, and he's like, "Oh well, we're going to give them 3 days to do this, and I'll come back in 3 days." It's like a reality TV show. That's what he sees the United States is. And the reality with Iran is, you're not dealing with a country of 400,000 people. You're dealing with a country that's almost 10 million people, and right, and they're Persians. They fought every empire in the world for the last 4,000 years.
That point right there. And how long we been in existence? The 50.
250 years, and you're talking about a country, an area that's been in existence for thousands of years. You think you're just gonna bomb them and all of a sudden they're gonna give up? Idiot.
Excuse me for the scene, but they like baby kids. They don't die. They just multiply. They just come
Well,
back. It
I mean,
really
think
does.
about it. I mean, think about United States. What if somebody came over here and started bombing us and saying they're gonna drop troops into our country? Every American that's got worth his salt is going to grab whatever weapon he has and defend us.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what they're gonna do there.
Yeah, I thought Donald Trump knew so crazy. We done bombed everything. Now y'all need to take up arms and take your country back. What? They gonna get their spatulas and go out there. You got one of the most deadliest troops around. What they call the guards?
Revolutionary
Guards,
Guard.
yeah. And you want these regular citizens to go fight them and take the country back. Come on, man. That's what I'm talking about when you don't have a vision.
Most of the people who are complaining about Iran are people that have been kicked out of Iran, and they're in some other country getting on TV talking about that. You don't
It's
never hear anybody inside of Iran saying that. You hear people who are in Saudi Arabia or some other country running their mouth about what's going on in Iran. Anyway, go ahead.
and you hear Israel talking about it all the time.
Right. I've said this for a very long time. Why are we going to war for Israel? Israel wants to fight Iran, send your own troops over there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, go ahead, go with that for a minute. I gotta step out for a second.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, what is the goal? I mean, the goal can't be because
No.
the country of Israel has said that uh, they don't like Iran, that the United States should bring all of our power, all of our might, all of our blood and tears to defend Israel. We have allies over in Europe who right now are telling us you can't launch your planes from our airspace.
That's what happened when you got grandkids.
Serious allies. I mean, we got the French. I mean, we've been the French and the United. I mean, I always use terminology like Colin Powell said one time when he was Secretary of State, is that the United States and the French have been in marriage counseling for 250 years. And the French said, you cannot launch from our airspace. The Spain and Spanish said, you cannot launch from our airspace. Our allies over there, NATO allies said NATO is a protective alliance. It's not an aggressive alliance. So we're not going to get involved in this war when you started it, Donald Trump. And if we've accomplished everything that we say that we've accomplished in Iran, because that's what President Trump always says, then why is the Strait of Hormuz still closed?
And now today, as of today, all these different countries got together, minus
Yep.
America,
Yep.
to try to figure out how they're gonna solve this
What's the
problem that
solution?
America started, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's a
basically, they
shame.
basically they got together and said we don't need the United States so much. So basically, what Donald Trump has done is he's alienated the United States, where countries are getting together without even bringing us to the table to try to work out world problems.
Pitiful, just pitiful. And that's just a half of it. And like I said, they're doing this and all the while they're still trying to break down what America is doing from the inside also.
Yep.
Trying to
Yep.
break people, pit people against each other and everything. Trying to make sure that you're the other. And just the communities, well, your section
Well,
there.
no, it says, and black communities can't afford to be surprised by the outcome. And I'll just get off topic for just a second. This is the stuff that black folks, all this stuff that we're talking about when it comes to all these black celebrities coming out and supposedly Republican and MAGAs and stuff. Black folks, we've seen this before. This is just a psych ops. It's no different than what this country, people who won't want us to see us succeed, have done for a very long time. It's divide and conquer. I mean, they did it with the house slave versus the field slave. Dark skinned black people versus light skinned black folks. W.E. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington, Malcolm and Martin, Africans versus African Americans. It's always to try to divide us because they don't want us to organize and realize who we are, the power that we have, and our real role on this earth. So they divide us. You got people like Stephen A. Smith, all these pick-me's, and Anton Daniels, and Nicki Minaj, and Jason Whitlock. These guys are clowns. And all we get are people who get on podcasts and start talking about these folks and using all of your energy to worry about 1 or 2 people. We are 50 million people in this country, and we're worried about 5 or 6 celebrities that vote differently than we would like. Let it go. Focus on organizing our community so that we can become better as a people to move our folks forward. Stop arguing with these clowns. I
Exactly.
mean, why do we care what Stephen A. Smith and Anton Daniels has to say about anything?
And then you gotta add 2 more as of this week, Nick Cannon and
On Chile.
Chili. With
Again, right, again, we gotta look at Chile. Chile hasn't been relevant in 30 years. She's
exactly.
broke.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
she's gonna take whatever she can.
She got a rich white boyfriend now.
Exactly. So, and why do we care about her? She's an entertainer. What has she brought to the world other than showing her breast and her booty? Nothing. She hasn't brought anything else to our community. And Nick Cannon, dude, you got 13 children by different
5,
women.
I think it's 4 or 5 different women.
It's more than that.
Okay. I
Still,
lost
he don't
count
even
somewhere.
know. Still, he doesn't even. He forgets his kids' names. You don't even know what your children's names are. But yeah, we're giving this guy all the time. Nick Cannon ain't never been in our community. He's never been in our community. He's never been that type of dude. And now we're worried about what Nick Cannon and Amber Rose. Amber Rose is the woman that's got a
Oh
tattoo
god.
on her forehead.
Lord have mercy.
So, I mean, my point is that we got to be smarter and we got to recognize the game. There are people out there, very powerful people in this country and around the world that don't want black folks to organize. You see it
Exactly.
going on in Africa right now. You see the French are panicking because the West African countries are basically saying, you're not going to continue to rip us off and support your economy and your country off of the resources that come out of Africa. And a lot of
I'm
African countries are realizing that we're not going to allow that to happen anymore. We're going to start making our resources for people to live in our country
I'm
and
glad
not
that is
for.
happening now.
Absolutely. I mean, Ibrahim Toure is leading it, but you got the countries that are Salau, West African countries that have lithium, all of the resources, gold that Western countries have built their foundation on.
You're right.
Now those countries are starting to say, you know what, that's not going to happen anymore. You're going to start paying us as opposed to, us selling you our resources and only getting 5%. You get 95. Now we're going to get 95% and you're going to get 5% of the resources. But go ahead. I got off topic a little bit.
No, that's all right because we get ready to wrap this up because it's a topic we could talk about all night. But this section is what does this moment requires from us? What 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 do we do besides sit back and talk and complain and don't vote? We gotta vote. That's the main thing. Cause like I said, this vote coming up, a lot of people have said this vote is the most consequential vote you will ever see in your life. I can say this with a whole lot of certainty that this one is a consequential vote for a lot of reasons. It might not be the most, but it is one of the top 1 or 2 votes that you're gonna take in your life. So what does this mean? First of all, we can't panic. It's about preparation. If they move the goalposts, we learn about how they move the goalposts, how far they move the goalposts, what we gotta do, and we plan to do what we gotta do under the rules that we got to work with. That don't mean we don't fight back and try to make those rules go away, but we got to be prepared for the worst case scenario. So if the rules require us to have birth certificates and or passports, then we help people get their birth certificates. I think most people want birth certificates, but a large majority of them could care less about a passport. So we as as an organization, as people, individual people, need to prepare our people on how to get through this moment. So we actually got to do something. You can pray, you can have thoughts and prayers, but you gotta have action with those thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. Look, faith without action is meaningless. And that's just the reality. I mean,
Yep,
it's not even if they change the rules, it's when. We know they're going to change the rule because if you're losing, you shift the goalposts so that whoever it is that you're fighting against can't catch up. So we need to recognize that it's going to happen and be prepared for it and fight fire with fire. We have the ability to damage them just like they have the ability to damage us. I mean, we're good at protesting. We're good at expressing our opinion about what's going on. That's how you hurt them through financial means. I've said probably 2 years ago about some of these organizations, excuse me, some of these companies out here who have lined up behind this president. Those companies don't get the opportunity to get my money moving forward. You just don't. Companies that did away with DEI, you don't get the opportunity to receive my money. So it's about knowing the rules, watching the changes, making sure our people understand what's happening, not after the fact, but now.
exactly. Voting is not just a civic duty for Black people, it is our survival strategy. And that's why I was talking about we have to come up with strategies to protect our families, our neighborhoods, and our future. So we have to come up with those strategies to protect these things and everything.
Yeah, no matter how the court rules or what the Senate passes, Black America has always adapted. Always organized, always found a way. That's what we need to do. It's not just about individual people. It's not even about just us. It's about our children and our grandchildren. So what we do today affects them. Stop worrying about individual entertainers. They're just that, entertainers, and focus on the overall history and overall wellness of our community.
Gotcha. Stay informed, stay connected, and stay intentional. Move with intention.
Because when the rules change, the people understand the game. The people who understand the game still win.
There you go. And we're gents making sense, and we're gonna continue to make sense.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Thank you for joining us. Do you have a on another note today?
I touched on my on another note, man, with our community getting so caught up, man, in these celebrities and what they say. They are not us, man. They're not us. They don't live in our community. They don't live like us. Let them go. Let them say whatever it is they need to say. I guarantee you, all of these black entertainers who are coming out and all of a sudden they're MAGA. When this is all over, they'll be right back trying to get into your living room on your television or get you to buy tickets for them. Stay focused on our overall goal. Don't focus on individuals. That's all I want to say.
Okay, good. My on another note is very simple and very easy to remember. Vote. Don't care what day it is. Don't care what requirements there are. Vote. That's
Yes,
as
sir.
simple as that. Just vote. Okay?
Can I say one?
One
Can I
more.
say one more thing? One more
Okay.
thing before we get on. And I just wanted to bring up that I always say that, particularly when it comes to Republicans, everything they do and they say is projection. Look at Christy Norman, right? Her husband out here dressing like a woman.
Exactly.
But these are the same people that talk to you about, oh, I'm God fearing, I'm a Christian,
Mhm.
I believe in Jesus. And she's married to a dude that dresses like a woman and is on websites talking to other cross dressers. They didn't fire her because she wasn't doing her job. They
Yep.
fired her because they knew this was coming out
Exactly.
and they didn't want to deal with it. So they fired her ahead of schedule and then they released out that this guy is running around dressing, like a woman.
Yeah, Donald Trump, Donald Trump don't like that because he might outdress
Exactly.
him.
Because it's all projection. They're all
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah,
They are all
exactly.
doing it. It's gonna all come out in a couple of years when he's
Mhm,
gone out of office,
mhm,
and then they start doing investigations. People gonna start talking about some of the deviant stuff that
mhm,
these people currently in this administration are doing behind the scenes.
exactly. Yep,
So
yep.
that was it.
Thanks a lot, sir. See you
Yes,
again
sir.
next week, and we'll get back with you with another one of those hot topics, okay?
All right, we'll see you next week.